Morning. Three things you need to know living in Santa Clara County, Silicon Valley, real estate, houses to be built to withstand hurricanes. I know that has nothing to do with Silicon Valley, but I thought it would be interesting to talk about. NAR finds typical home buyers' annual household income climbed to a record of $107,000. And inside Whirlpool's ambitious plan to reimagine the refrigerator. Why are these important? Well, because cost of living is getting expensive. Everything is getting super expensive. And when you buy an appliance, and I can tell you that the appliances that we have, I won't mention the fact that mine are GE, they tend to not last. They're built to break. They're built to have a lifespan. And my next set of appliances that I ever will buy will be Whirlpool, but Whirlpool owns a few different brands. So I would probably, where is it? It's KitchenAid. Every time I look at KitchenAid appliances, because I see a lot of houses, right? They look amazing. They feel sturdy. They feel super strong, like they're going to last a long time. And they're the Whirlpool. They're owned by Whirlpool, right? So there's KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Maytag, and Amana. Guys, I feel like KitchenAid is the brand to get. Now, let's take a look at this. They're reimagining this refrigerator. And the reason why I bring this up is because we have a pretty deep, hang on a second. There we go. There, see, wider. We have a pretty deep refrigerator, which I appreciate. I enjoy my refrigerator. It's not perfect, right? The ice machine tends to first world problems, right? My ice machine tends to freeze over, so I have to defrost it every once in a while, although it's not supposed to do that. At least it's not LG or Samsung, so they don't destroy my floors, which is okay. I feel it's too deep. Mostly because what my kids like to do is make something and then they put it into a Tupperware or what have you, a little storage bucket thing, and then they put it on the front of the shelf, and then over the next week or two or three, it gets pushed to the way back, and then when you finally go to clean up the nasty refrigerator, there's a bunch of nasty bowls of food there. So what I'm seeing here is a refrigerator that's not only more efficient, it has better insulation. The design is not as deep. I'd like to see the door shelves come out a little bit more, but I'm not an expert. I'm not an industrial design expert. What do I know? But look at this. It's pretty nice. And it opens up nice and big. So they're using this thing called Slim Tech, which is supposed to be thinner and it's supposed to be open up the capacity by 25%. And it's so much more efficient that the energy use would drop by 50%. That's awesome. All right. I'm looking into it. I'll learn more. What I like about this is that you have a lot more options. I think we're going to see refrigerators change the look and feel. But right now, if I were to redo my kitchen right now, I would get rid of some of, like my microwave, I have to slam it shut 4 or 5 times for it to work. I mean, it's only a couple of years old. It's like 3 or 4 years old. That's ridiculous. Appliance makers, you have to buy, not KitchenAid or Whirlpool, the other ones, build stuff that lasts. That's all I'm going to say. Build stuff that lasts. I was just watching Breakfast Club and 16 Candles, and I looked at those. They were doing there was a kitchen scene. I saw the old appliances, and I see these old appliances still around today. And guess what? They still work. Right? Yeah, they might have like broken this or broken that, but they still work. These appliances built today are only built to last 5 years. That's the life cycle of the appliances today. Because, know they don't care. They're going to be like, oh, you have to go this new look and all that stuff. And I swear up and down that there is a market for buying those licenses, buying the licenses of the design of those 1980s, 1970s, less efficient appliances, and remaking the front so that it's stainless steel, but you still have the mechanics, no computers. It's ruggedly built. There's not a lot of plastic parts in it, so it's going to last a long time. Car manufacturers are doing the same thing. They're building cars out of plastic now. They have engine parts that are built out of plastic. Designed obsolescence is ridiculous, and we're continuing to buy stuff like this without changing them, coming back to them and saying, stop. We don't want to buy a piece of shit. I didn't say a piece of crap car. I don't want to buy a piece of crap appliances, and you're charging me 3 times more because it's new and cool. So anyway, there you go. The rates have gone up just a tad bit again. Last week it was down to 7.4. Now it's 7.5. So I don't know. Everybody's saying, hey, it's went back down, but it's not. And we're seeing closes slow down too. Gas is coming down. Now, I don't know if you're in, Knoxville, Tennessee, where you're paying $3 a gallon. But when we see in California, when we see $4.09 at a Costco, that's something to celebrate. That, my friends, is something to celebrate. And here's the thing. If you're a gas station owner and you're charging over $5 now, shame on you. Shame on you. All right. Home Buyers Workshop. Take the time. We have a few people using this right now, and I think it's a great thing because we're not here to sell you anything. We're here to educate you on the process, right? There's a lot of stuff that goes through the whole process of buying a house, right? There's a lot of unknowns, and this walks you through a major portion of it. We won't call you and bug you. We're there for you. If you have any questions, give it a try. Okay, we talked about that. List price reductions. Yesterday it was at 180. Today is 130, 179. Real quick, we'll take a look at this one. Nice standard looking house. We're seeing a lot more houses. I think it was 25% of the houses that are listed today. Single family homes in Santa Clara County, right? Nice house. Older. Built in 1953. It's older. Look, original everything. That's a newer appliance right there, right? I would love to see that. I think you're going to have a treat when you see the house that I'm putting up for sale. Okay, so 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, 1,138 square feet. Really close to a freeway. That's why it's taking forever, and that's why you have to be careful about pricing. Went from $2 million down to 1.8. That's $200,000 less than what the seller thought, and the listing agent took it, saying, "Oh, we'll just take it and let it sit on market for a while and see what happens." And then nothing happens. And they are result of what's happening, right? Housing affordability at the bottom, all the way to those at the top, the Elon Musks and the Bezos and all those people, they're at the very top, and all of us at the bottom, there's people in the middle. But where you can buy a house today, it's going up and up and up. And I know it's more unaffordable, and it's because, I can't say it's us as an industry. Our job is to make sure our seller gets the best deal for them. Terms, cost, of price, everything, right? We set you up for success. That's my job. When you hire me, I Sherpa you, I take you through the entire process, and I do all that stuff for you so you can live your life. That's why you hire a real estate agent, right? We have Redfins and corporate America buying up swaths of houses and make it very difficult. We have home builders building historically low numbers of new homes. We still have a lot of building going on, but not at the rate that we need, because our population's increasing. Our population's increasing, and more people are buying houses. And technically speaking, it's more difficult because, as you become more affluent, you go from, poverty to middle income to wealthy, you will tend to not sell your house and buy. You might have to, but a lot of people are opting not to. So they decide to sell or to rent their house out and buy another house. That will help create that generational wealth that we talk about. So that's one. And then also, there is a huge swath of those with home mortgages right now. 67% have refinanced their home down to 2.5% to 3%. That historically low interest rates. So those people would tend to not sell that house. So a mix of all policy decisions, corporate purchases and investments, and people becoming wealthier, not selling those houses. What we're seeing is there's a plethora of homes that are being sold by divorces, by deaths. Your parents get older and that's it. And then those that are being relocated. Those are the three that are really strong right now. We're not seeing a ton of bank-owned properties. That's not going to happen, not for a while. And even if it does, it probably won't be to the numbers that we see. Also, Airbnb bought up a lot. Well, the individuals using the Airbnb business model helped make this problem a problem, because they're taking them off the market and they're struggling. Now, Airbnb is suffering. There's a lot of people that are walking away from that idea and either going long-term rentals, or they're putting it on the market. But it's not such a huge amount of numbers that it's even one of the three legs that I look at. I'm in Silicon Valley, so I don't get a lot of those people anyway. So that's why it's becoming less affordable. It's a whole lot of little tiny points that make up a big difference in a big part of our GDP. And it becomes an issue when you have to have $107,000 to be able to buy a house, right? I mean, you can buy a small house. You can go out to Chattanooga and buy a house for $40,000. It's not going to be the nicest looking house, but you can still do that. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about VA. If you're having issues finding a veteran, having to find resources for your veteran friends or family, or if you are a veteran and you need help, you can find a VA location here. If you get to a point where they're taking too long to help you, there's other resources here for you. PTSD, you need a caregiver, whatever your problem is. I just watched something about guilt, which is PTSD. There's lots of things that go on in your head, right? And guys, I'll tell you, this isn't just for vets. You can go and get these resources for yourself too, if you need help. These houses right here are being built in Florida. They're supposed to be more efficient. They're able to take you off the grid for a short time, and they're supposed to be able to withstand hurricanes. Why is that important? It's important because we have to dig deeper into our environment and become more self-sufficient here in California when we build homes. Now, I'm not talking about, building in a suburban block and building 50 to 250 homes. That's a totally different dynamic, right? Obviously, we need to be more lean towards LEED certified, which is green efficiency appliances and insulation and building. But depending on what the sources of you are, like in California and most of the West Coast, we have a lot of not fire storms, but forest fires, and people live in the forest or in the woods, and those tend to burn down. How do we make that house more efficient, more protective to the fires that might happen? Right? You build a house out of wood, it will burn down. You build a house out of brick, we have earthquakes, it might fall down. So my point here is, I don't know what the answer is, but we have to start looking towards building homes like this, where it makes more sense for us to build in environments to protect the house and also the environment. All right, enough of that. That's today's highs and lows. I was going to talk about that, but I never did segue. These are the 4 highs and lows, and I'll show you those numbers real quick. 9.5, 100%. Princeville came in, and Gilroy came in at 735 at 91%. Howard Drive in Santa Clara sold for 2.2 at 130% of list price. And Shasta Ave in San Jose came in at 83%. Let's take a real quick look. I want to do previous there. This one right here, really pretty house. Let me drop this to another. There. Now you get to see nice pictures. This makes me want to go buy some property in Los Altos, Palo Alto, Saratoga, Cupertino, a lot of property, and do something like this. This is such a creative design. It's so beautiful. I feel like the designer on this, the architect, the builders all worked in harmony to make this house beautiful. I mean, okay, that's just dumb. But I mean, just think, if this house is designed for living and entertaining, and yes, it's expensive. I understand that. I think this was $7 or $8 million, maybe 9. Look, they even put in electrical, everything, every little detail here is thought out. Just a beautiful house. Everything about this. The funny thing about it, it's 5,000 square feet, 4 bedroom, 5 and 2 half baths, and an ADU on half an acre, well, 0.7 acres, 8 years old, took 3 days to sell at market, at list price, $9.5 million. The funny thing about this, guys, similar house would be $1 million, $1.5 million, maybe 2 if you have it all completely decked out in other parts of the world. I'm not saying that. This is a beautiful house. This is gorgeous. Every little part of this house is gorgeous. Yeah. Yep. Gilroy, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 1,100 square feet, built in 1941. Little bungalow. Very modest home. 670. No, what did it sell for? 735. Wow. It's crazy. But originally listed at 800, went down to 735. Days on market is 40. Right. Howard Drive. This is the biggest. It's a 31% or 30% over list price. Listed at 1.7, sold for 2.2, 6 bedroom. This is a monstrosity. Look at this. This should be like a duplex. Oh my God, it's horrible. Look at that wallpaper. I'm getting nauseated just looking at it. Oh, so here's the trick, right? You go low, right? I mean, there's no magic to it. If your ego tells you that your house is worth 2.3, 2.2, or 2 million, go low. It doesn't matter because the buyers will come out in droves and see it. And the other reason why this is went for so much, look at that. Guess where it's near? It's walking distance to Apple. So you can put 12 engineers in there and charge them $2,000 each, and it'll float. Crazy. Okay, this is Shasta Ave. This is the lowest, the biggest dig. Started off at 2.35. Sold at 1.625, 127 days. What happened to this house? This is a beautiful house in the Rose Garden, right down by, guys, this is where you want to live, right? I mean, not necessarily San Jose, but if you're in Santa Clara, you're right there, right? Why in the world would you list it at 2.35 other than ego? I did all this house and I remodeled this house 20 years ago. This is a beautiful house. Look at this. All right, but it's original, right? There's got to be a balance between the buyer, the seller, and the agent. And if the agent is desperate, they'll take the offer, the seller's recommendation of listing it high. I never subscribed to that. I did when I was younger. I learned my lesson because if I do everything that I'm supposed to do and you as a seller come to me and tell me that I am only going to sell it if it's 2.3, I can tell you by the numbers and by the condition and the local and the market and the news that you hire me because I know my market, right? I know what's going on in the market. I know that we're contracting or we're expanding or I know. And I know in specific areas, I know how to read the data. That's what you hire me for. And if you come back to me and say my house is worth 2.35, just like this person did, and the agent concedes, you're going to think that the agent isn't doing their job. The agent does their marketing, they do their networking, they do their promoting, they do their open houses. I bet they did 15, 20 open houses with this thing, right? It doesn't matter because if a buyer comes through and sees this compared to something else, and they have 15 other choices, especially now, they're going to come in and say, no, I don't want that house. I didn't want that house. I want the other house that's priced more reasonably. I'd rather get that house than this because there's just no way I'm going to buy that house for 2.35 because that same house or something similar to it, size, condition, location, market, half a mile away is 1.7. I'd rather pay 1.7, 1.8 a little bit further away because what have you. Buyers are smart. They're very well educated. They have access to all the information and they know what houses are worth. And if you overprice your house is going to sit on market. Okay, enough of that. Enough of my little meandering. I'm Vito with Abitano. Today we talked about Whirlpool, new refrigerator, hurricane-proof homes, and why it matters to us in California, and the household income at $107,000 as an average. Crazy. All right, I'm Vito with Abitano. Hope you have a fantastic day. We'll see you out there.